My name is Allie Cade, and I'm a curator at the Sigel Music Museum in Greenville, South Carolina. Over the past few weeks, I've been bringing out some of the highlights of our collection, and this week I thought I'd actually feature two instruments that share a similar purpose. They were both made for children. So today we have this instrument, which is called a Saxette, and we have this instrument, which is called a Clar-O-Sax. Now both look pretty similar, and they're both using the term sax in their names as a marketing tactic. However, they actually sound quite different, and that's primarily due to their mouthpieces and the shapes of their tubes. The Saxette was invented by a man named E.J. Fitchhorn, who was a band teacher and French horn player in Delaware, Ohio in 1929, but it didn't receive its patent until 1937. It's a cylindrical tube made of aluminum with 6 finger holes, a thumb hole, and a thumb rest on the back. It has a Bakelite plastic baffle chamber mouthpiece that does not require a reed, making it sound more like a flute or a whistle and not at all like a saxophone. It's certainly more convenient for children, so they didn't have to worry about dealing with reeds or ligatures. It also has a small attachment for a lyre-shaped music clip, which could hold up songs in the Saxette method book, which I will return to shortly. But first, let's compare this to the Clar-O-Sax. The Clar-O-Sax received its patent earlier than the Saxette, but it was invented 2 years after, in 1931. It was conceptualized by a man named Alan Loomis, who worked for C.G. Kahn, an important manufacturer of brass instruments and saxophone family instruments in the early 20th century. Based in Elkhart, Indiana, C.G. Kahn produced countless improvements on the popular instruments and even opened an experimental laboratory where Alan Loomis played a key role in developing new brass and sax technologies and even new instruments like the Clar-O-Sax. It's a conical tube, and it's made of nickel silver, which is an alloy of copper, nickel, and zinc, and it has 6 finger holes on the front. The bottom 2 holes, I don't know if you can see, have actually more of an oval shape, which Loomis arranged intentionally for small hands to have an easier time reaching. On the back, it does have 1 octave key and a thumb rest. It also has a removable nickel silver mouthpiece and ligature for a single reed, which is just like a saxophone. Both of these instruments are appearing at a time where there's a larger overhaul of music education across the country. The prestige of the high school band was gaining steam, and it becomes a very competitive activity, with band tournaments and contests occurring throughout the country. Quite cutthroat, actually. An officer at the National Bureau for the Advancement of Music even said that a good school band can add more than perhaps anything else to the prestige of its school and its town. Therefore, it was critical to build up your band players from childhood, making instruments like the Saxette or the Clar-O-Sax very important for pre-band education. We actually have some ephemera that came with each instrument, which speaks to their target audience. The box that the Clar-O-Sax comes from features a child playing the instrument, and it says things like plays and sounds like a saxophone, excellent music training for children, a real musical instrument, not a toy, the first step to saxophone and clarinet playing. All of these are messages that promote the stepwise advantages of starting with this instrument. The Saxette comes with a box, but also a method book called the Beat Response Method, and it states that it is a pre-band, orchestra, or choral reading course of study. Inside, there are various short solo pieces which then develop into Saxette duets and trios later in the book. In the very back, it advertises further studies for the Saxette and the piano. Both are fascinating relics of early 20th century music education, the rise of the school band movement, and the pervasive popularity of the saxophone name. Please leave any questions that you have about these instruments below, and let us know what you'd like to see next. Thank you for watching.